some that show some pictures from last year. Pay no attention to the date. I didn't set the date on the camera. I didn't even know it was on there. Feel free to pass those around. And like I said, I have brochures here, mostly because they have our email address and our website. And I would love it if people kept in contact with us. I'd like to hear about where you're going and what you're seeing on your trip.
And Jim has videos throughout the whole first season so he can keep his members informed about the high tunnel as it progressed throughout his first season when he put it up also on the website.
We try to keep some videos on, and hopefully this will be on there soon. My son's doing a video of this right now. We'll at least have some pictures on the website.
To use green energy?
The energy around here is diesel fuel and electricity. That's about it. We have propane for the heat in the greenhouse. That's all. We don't have any wind or solar yet.
So you're just buying off of the grid?
Yes. How often do you plant these rows? Do you just keep on planting each harvest, or?
Well, those tomatoes that are out there now, we will probably take out in October. And then we put back, instead of a single row, we make 30-inch wide beds that have like 12 rows of spinach or lettuce or carrots, things like that, and those will stay all winter in there. Some of those pictures you see, they have the hoops and the covers over the rows. That protects it in the wintertime. And even if it's down way below freezing, as soon as the sun comes out, it warms up and things are all usable in there.
So do you put in fertilizers before each plant?
We use some compost before we plant, but then we also, those blue barrels over there have a fish and seaweed, an organic fertilizer, and I have a fertilizer injector. So that can be pumped in through the irrigation hose during the season. I don't do it every time. I do it probably every week. I might hook it up and run one of the waterings will have fertilizer with it. It's a very mild fertilizer. I have the analysis somewhere, but it's an organic product. It's made from the waste products of fish that they catch from the Atlantic.
After CSA, what does it mean?
Community Supported Agriculture is what that stands for, and that started, I think it started in Sweden or Switzerland many years ago. They came up with the idea, and it moved into this country probably 40 or 50 years ago, and it's growing immensely. There's a lot of, not as many around here, but in like around New York, upstate New York, there are a lot of CSAs. Around the big population centers, there are a lot of them. We are just a little bit too far away from St. Louis for everyone to come out here and pick up their stuff. That's why we do delivery. There are a few closer, and there are some that do no deliveries at all. That you have to pick up at their farm or meet them at a farmer's market. Any other questions?
Could you give us like the various crops that you have
In the high tunnel,
and also what kind of spacing do you have in terms of the rows?
okay. In In the high tunnel, the only thing, during the winter, we grow carrots, spinach, Swiss chard, some turnips, things that are hardy. I mean, we have some Asian greens that's a mixture of mustard and things that we grow in there. In the summertime, the big money crop in a high tunnel is tomatoes, because you can get them in a month early. That means you're getting your first ripe tomatoes a month before anybody else, and the price is high. So you can pretty much pay for a high tunnel in 1 year of tomato crop if you do full tomatoes. The spacing, you'll notice in mine, I have mine fairly far apart. There are some that put them closer together. I don't like fighting. It gets like a jungle in there as it is. So I try to keep a 2-foot walkway and then a 30-inch bed. In the wintertime, we plant a bed of things. In the summertime, it's one row down the center of that bed. And between plants, usually I go 2 feet between plants on tomatoes. Basically, we have about 40 tomato plants, 40, 42 in a row out there. And you'll see they need to be picked right now. Feel free to walk around in there, but if you brush against tomato plants, you're going to get green.
Do you have some kind of an organization, an association of farmers like UCSA farmers, or forum where you kind of discuss the issues or relationships with the customers?
We have, there are very few CSAs in this area. There are probably about 4. And I do know the owners, and we do talk about things. There are some listservs on the internet. There are some about high tunnels, some about CSAs, and I keep track of a lot of that. I don't have time to really get into it and communicate with people, but I do watch for topics that interest me and something I can learn from. That's pretty much how that all works.
And Jim, I will also point out, has been very instrumental. He was the first one to have a high tunnel in this area, and he's very willing to share with the other producers that are putting them in, and I've heard very positive feedback from working with the other producers. They've been so giving, with information and their assistance for them to get started with it.
We do have a lot of visitors here that are thinking about buying high tunnels or in the program to get the grant. And a lot of them come here to look at ours when they're trying to decide what kind they want. And then when they do buy one, they come here to look and get pointers on building it. So we have a lot of visitors. You get and you give back.
Go ahead and put the high tunnel in.
Not even cooler.